Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and we keep you up to date with the headlines. General Phan Van Giang visits Border Guard Academy. Vietnamese and Philippine navies hold exchange on Song Tu Dong Island, Northeast Cape. U.S. Secretary of State praises 30-year Vietnam-U.S. relations. On July the 12th, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, visited the Border Guard Academy under the Vietnam Border Guard Command. In recent years, the Border Guard Academy has focused on renewing and modernizing education and training, aligning closely with the mission of building a strong border guard force to safeguard national sovereignty and security along Vietnam's borderline. The Academy has combined innovative training methods, applied science and technology, and strengthened scientific research, improving both quantity and quality. General Phan Van Giang urged the Academy's leadership to drive further breakthroughs in education and training with standardized programs and clear learning outcomes tailored to the needs of frontline units. He emphasized greater use of information technology, simulation and digital transformation, and called for developing a teaching and management staff that meets the demands of modern missions. Highlighting challenges in border areas, General Phan Van Giang emphasized that wherever conditions are most challenging, border guards must be present. He stressed that every graduate must embrace this principle. The border post is home, the borderland is hometown, and ethnic people are family, ready to serve with political resolve, moral integrity, close ties to the local communities, and solidarity with local party committees and authorities. I hope you, comrades, will share experience and focus on building a clean, strong party committee, making the Academy truly exemplary. To achieve this requires unity and shared commitment. I will always remember the border guard medics and those who quietly and tirelessly serve on remote islands and at border posts, ensuring many hardships. He concluded by instructing the Academy to thoroughly implement key party and military resolutions, ensuring all training remains grounded with the realities of frontline units and that outreach activities further strengthen ties with local communities. This, he said, is key to building a solid people's border guard disposition and a strong people's defense posture to protect Vietnam's border areas together with local authorities. Later today at the Vietnam Military History Museum, General Phan Van Giang, Minister of National Defense, and the working delegation inspected the progress of the project to invest in building a symbolic area to recognize the support and assistance of countries in Vietnam's resistance wars. In compliance with the direction of the Party Central Committee Secretariat, the Central Military Commission, and the Minister of National Defense, the Ministry of National Defense and the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army directed agencies and units to carry out the project on an area of 3,600 square meters on the campus of the Vietnam Military History Museum. Recognizing the efforts of agencies and units, Minister Phan Van Giang requested the Arts Council to continue to create and perfect the content and ideas of the draft while ensuring a harmonious combination of political and foreign affairs factors with fine arts. At the same time, relevant agencies and units need to maximize the project's functions in political and historical education, defense relations, and people's diplomacy, creating the best conditions for officers, soldiers, and people to visit as soon as possible. On July the 12th, at the National Military Training Center 4 in Hòa Lạc High-Tech Park in Hanoi, a working delegation of Military Region 2 visited and encouraged the forces participating in the Grand Parade, commemorating the 80th anniversary of the August Revolution and National Day, September the 2nd. Over the past time, officers and soldiers in the formations participated in high-intensity training in harsh weather conditions. However, they are all determined to overcome all hardships to complete all training contents and programs as planned. During the visit, gifts were presented to encourage the officers and soldiers. On July the 12th, the Vietnam People's Navy and the Philippine Navy held their 8th friendly exchange program on Song Tu Dong Island, also known as Northeast Cay. Following the success of the 7th exchange on Vietnam's Song Tu Day, also known as Southwest Cay Island, in July 2024, the event aimed to strengthen friendship, cooperation, trust and mutual understanding between the two navies, while effectively implementing side cooperation agreements. The two sides exchange information on maritime security, search and rescue, and disaster warnings, and took part in sports, cultural, musical, and culinary activities. The program fostered a friendly, cooperative atmosphere, boosted coordination in disaster response, search and rescue, and information sharing, contributing to peace and stability in the region. Coming up next, U.S. Secretary of State praises 30-year Vietnam-U.S. relations. Hanoi to say no to plastic bags. On the occasion of the 30th anniversary of normalized diplomatic ties between Vietnam and the U.S., 1995-2025, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio marked the milestone on social media platform X on July the 12th. Veteran Trần Văn Quý and his younger brother, Martyr Trần Văn Phú, joined the military in the 1960s. Quý was discharged in 1964 and his younger brother died 3 years later on the Quang Tri battlefield. Nearly 60 years have passed. Quý could not find and bring his younger brother's remains back to home. A few days ago, his family was deeply moved when they received his memorabilia back. We are so touched and excited as for nearly 60 years we have not received any information about our loved ones. Now we have received his war era materials. We are so happy. Martyr Trần Văn Phú's war era materials were among the many documents given to the martyrs' families on July the 10th. On the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the Vietnam-U.S. diplomatic relations. These documents were stored by the Texas Tech University of the U.S.
We're now mining our archive. We're digging into those documents and materials that we have in the United States to provide information to the Vietnamese government and to Vietnamese families. They have information about where that soldier was when that document was recovered. And sometimes the document was literally taken off the body of the soldier who was killed in combat. And so that level of information is going to help the government, help the Vietnamese families to hopefully find some of those remains.
Remediating the post-war consequences is the first cooperation area for the two countries to build trust, creating a foundation for other cooperation areas. Vietnam has proactively cooperated with the U.S. to search for and repatriate the remains of U.S. servicemen missing in action during the war. The U.S. also actively supports Vietnam with information and technology to verify the martyrs' remains. In addition, the U.S. and Vietnam have effectively coordinated in mine clearance and dioxin remediation. The U.S. also supports people with disabilities in Vietnam's localities heavily sprayed with Agent Orange.
Really remarkable, very meaningful effort that shows the power of reconciliation, and it shows what happens when you give courageous people on both sides. And it took courage in the United States on both sides. And it took courage in the United States and in Vietnam to take steps to bring our two countries together.
30 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations, Vietnam and the U.S. have become comprehensive strategic partners in which cooperation in overcoming the post-war consequences is a spotlight. 30 years ago, on July the 11th, 1995, local time, former U.S. President Bill Clinton announced the normalization of U.S.-Vietnam relations. One day later, Prime Minister Võ Văn Kiệt issued a statement welcoming the U.S. decision. From this historic milestone, Vietnam and the U.S. officially established diplomatic relations. Before the normalization of relations, the war in the past was a door that closed the reconciliation and cooperation between the two sides. However, a cooperation field of humanity became the key to opening the door for the relationship between the two countries, that is, overcoming post-war consequences. He wrote, 30 years ago, the US and Vietnam began an extraordinary journey from former adversaries to comprehensive strategic partners. Today, we recognize this important milestone and reaffirm our commitment to jointly promote peace, prosperity, and security for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Earlier, on July the 11th, while attending the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Malaysia, Secretary Rubio also expressed appreciation for the U.S.-Vietnam relationship. He affirmed that the U.S. is committed to further building ties with Vietnam, a partnership with deep symbolic meaning, reflecting the long journey both countries have shared and offering great potential for future cooperation. Within the framework of the Vietnam-Laos Youth Friendship Meeting 2025 in Laos by the delegation of the Central Committees of the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union, the exchange with students of the Nguyễn Du Lao-Vietnamese Bilingual Language School, which recently took place in Vientiane, is a chance for the young generations of the two countries not only to meet and learn, but also to together cultivate a lasting friendship, connect hearts and build a future bridge for the Vietnam-Laos relationship. I am honored and proud to visit a school that stands as a symbol of friendship between Vietnam and Laos. I made a lot of new friends and we have learned about the traditional cultures of the two countries. Here, the students exchange meaningful gifts. The photos filled with smiles will become unforgettable memories, demonstrating the friendship without borders between the Vietnamese and Lao children, fostering the Vietnam-Laos relationship. When coming back home, I will try to spread good traditional values to my friends so that they can preserve and promote the Vietnam-Laos friendship. The exchange helps Vietnamese children not only better understand the culture and customs of Laos, but also gain valuable lessons, thus preserving and promoting the special relationship between the two nations. The Vietnam-Laos Youth Friendship Meeting 2025 has wrapped up, but the sincere friendship will stay forever in the hearts of youth of the two countries. The gifts and memories given are not only a marked connection, but also the seeds that nurture the close friendship between Vietnam and Laos. Hanoi aims to eliminate single-use plastics and non-biodegradable plastic bags by 2028 to protect the environment and promote sustainable development. Vietnam generates about 1.8 million tons of plastic waste annually. Hanoi alone produces around 1,427 tons per day, over 60% of which are single-use plastics. In response to rising pollution, the city's People's Council has passed a resolution to cut plastic waste and phase out single-use plastic products. Starting January the 1st, 2027, markets will no longer be allowed to give out free non-biodegradable plastic bags. This is the end of the QPVN News today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.